Good morning, small players. Welcome to another episode of pre-market scanning and charting. Today we have just 6 stocks on the scanner so far. It's 7:45 here in New York. A beautiful morning, if I may add. Okay, let's see what the scanner has for our small cap gappers this morning. And then, since we don't have a lot to chart this morning, I can also go over the Bitcoin chart. It's creeping in towards all-time highs. So the first stock here is TRKA. I don't remember this one. I don't know if I've ever traded it. And if I have, definitely, don't really have any fond memories of it. But these are the 3 key levels that we see. This level right here, clear resistance, tested it again, clear resistance, tested it again. Well, once it broke above it, it squeezed. So we know short sellers are, trapped there when it goes below it. Once it went below it, short sellers attacked it again. Went above it, large squeeze, right? So that's a key level. That's the most important level right there that we can see, this level of 207. So now it's tested at 1, 2, 3 times the support. You guys know third tests of support are normally short setups. It still seems to be holding. There's still some buying there, but I wouldn't buy it here anymore. It's tested it way too many times. So in this particular moment, after we can't trust this level anymore because of so many tests, can I wait for a flush to a lower level to buy, which could be this level. There's some support that there in the past. Could be this level. Could be this level. Or my personal favorite, wait for a breakout. Why? Well, because if it goes to any of these levels, sure, it can give us a reversal trade, but it's below indicators. You're sort of fighting against the current. It's in shorts territory, so it's harder to trade it down there. Maybe I would take this because it's a little closer, but anything below here, I'd rather just let shorts trap. And then basically the strategy here is, because this level's been tested too much, you don't want to enter it anymore because it's just waiting for a flush. So once it flushes, we can either trade a bounce on support if we're comfortable with a reversal trade, or just wait for short sellers to get trapped, because then as soon as it breaks above this level, they'll get squeezed, right? So just let them short and short and short and trap it. And then eventually, if it gets a little buying on either one of these support levels and it pushes above this level, we know it can squeeze, right? The other scenario, because in trading, remember, we're not trying to predict the future. We're just trying to make plans about how to react in different scenarios in the future. So there's always 2 possible scenarios for a stock. It's either going to go down or it's going to go up. And so we need to make a plan on what's going to happen if it goes down and what's going to happen if it goes up. So our plan, if it goes down, we just made. If it goes up, the key level here is this level of 219. So if it breaks above 219, then I would trade that for a squeeze. I'm going to create an alert for that. Basically, right now, long bias traders are showing a lot of weakness. So I would personally prefer for it to flush so that we can get more buyers on support and be a little stronger in fighting the short sellers. If we don't flush and if we decide to break above this level, I will trade that breakout, but I will treat it as a scalp, because I think it could do, if it doesn't flush beforehand and we don't get enough buyers, it could do like a little rip and drop there, with short sellers getting a little too excited on it. So I'm going to remove these from yesterday. I'll leave those 2 for a second. Okay, Lmdx, we've traded before. The chart is a little yucky right now, but if it does, recover throughout the day, could definitely present interesting trade opportunities. If it bounced on this EMA 20 line, is I love those, so I would trade that reversal trade, especially in this situation because it's so far from VWAP. We have such a nice range. So from this to VWAP is 18%, from EMA 20 to the first resistance is 12%. So there's a lot of range there to trade that reversal trade. So I would definitely trade that. I don't know what I did. Okay. So definitely, a lot of range there to take that trade if it does give an EMA 20 bounce. Let's look at well, actually, let me make an alert, even though, we know the alerts don't work pre-market. Let's look at the 1 minute chart and see if it's currently finding, it's below all indicators in the 1 minute chart. So that's really the only reversal trade I would take. If it doesn't touch that level, oops, never mind. If it doesn't touch that level, then we could potentially trade the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, which is only done once today, really, here. And it had a nice resolution. So, we could do that as well. I'll keep an eye on it. BBIG, our favorite. So many trades taken on this one. I have to remove the old drawings because it's just insane. I'll leave this one because that's the big level that we've been watching for weeks. But let's see what happened to it. Oh, CEO and CFO resigned. Oh my God. Both of them? Who knows what's going on? So this is sort of setting up what's known as a dead cat bounce. Actually, I'll show you this one because this one had a dead cat bounce yesterday. So it was a perfect example. So basically, a dead cat bounce is a situation where a stock gaps down. So normally we trade gap ups, right? Gap downs are a little different, but they do provide good trading opportunities the majority of the time, really just for the first hour of the morning. So this one did that yesterday. Basically, a gap down is, obviously stocks move in the after hour session and the pre-market session, right? So basically what ends up happening is stock gets some bad news or something, a bad catalyst of some sort, and it oversells. Obviously, short sellers are losing their minds, right? They're shorted. But remember, short selling, you open your position by selling and you close it by buying. So eventually they have to get out and take their profit. So they will start buying, right, to get out of their position. And that will help the stock go a little bit higher. Then long bias traders will get in on the upward move, bring some more buying momentum, and also long-term holders or swing traders that got stuck in that overnight move are going to try and average down, unfortunately. So they're also going to be buying so they can try and get out of the trade alive, right? So there's going to be some buying like that in the in the first really hour of the morning. Then that enough buying pressure from experienced short sellers that are taking profit, long bias traders that are riding the momentum, and long-term investors that are trying to average down. That whole move gives enough buying that it breaks above a key level, and then short sellers start getting squeezed again, right? So there's some opportunity on these gap downs. There are interesting trades. A lot of times they have pretty nice moves in the first hour of the morning, and I know every now and then when I announce that I'm going to trade something like that, people in the chat room are going to be like, what do you mean you're going to be long on this? They just had terrible news. I know, but the market already reacted to the news, right? So we're just looking for an opportunity. See, yesterday, this move that we traded was a 50% move in exactly 1 hour. Yeah, the first hour of the morning. So, I pulled up this chart because BBIG could do the same thing today, right? A big gap down, short sellers starting to close their position, long bias traders getting in on it. A break above this level, 675, could be the first squeeze for them, so we can create an alert for that. This one didn't really do anything today. I guess it's finally doing something something today. Yesterday didn't do anything. I want to say it obviously gave a lot of opportunities, and we did trade it up until this was the last trade we took, break above this level. So it did have a slow and steady grind. I think I mentioned it yesterday that we had been trading this stock for a time period in the past, and I remember it go pretty parabolic. So I was a little annoyed because I focused on that one on Bell and I was like trying to take trades here, whatever. It just wasn't, it didn't have enough volatility really until later in the afternoon, which whatever, I was a little disappointed, but I think by the end of the day, it still did a crazy move, right? It still went up 60%, but obviously you guys know I don't buy here and sell here. I bought this breakout, sold here. Bought this breakout, sold here. Bought this breakout, sold here. So it's like all these like mini trades, that I was taking constantly on it. With the last one really sort of being the biggest, but at that point of the day, I won't even, trade a large position. So on Bell is when I'm the most aggressive, and it didn't really give me the moves that I was hoping it would. So maybe today, I'm going to just remove all the old charts from yesterday because, again, because we traded it all day, there's so many lines on it. So we can just chart out the most obvious ones. So, it's now below all indicators. If it drops here, I would definitely take that bounce trade. That would be a nice reversal trade at or below. Or, break above VWAP, I would expect to make us to do a little squeezy. Okay, these are the ones, the volume's still a little too low for the day, so I won't bother charting them yet. And then I left this one on the scanner because this one actually was, I loved this one yesterday. And it's so funny how biased I am because let's see how much this moved for the whole day. See, this one for the entire day actually moved even less than HX, but just because it gave us this wild move right on Bell, and we were able to capitalize on that, in my mind, it's like, oh my God, this stock was amazing yesterday. Just because this is, where the largest volatility of the day is, and this is where I trade my largest positions, and I'm the most aggressive, and so I just remember it being, really good. But it just goes to show you how our, brains work, right? Because this theoretically had a larger move throughout the day. It just wasn't that aggressive right off bat. Just mark also the triple top from yesterday because probably a lot of short sellers are going to be stuck there a long ways away now, but I'm going to leave it on the watch list. Okay, that's that for the short small caps. Now we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. I think we looked at it. We definitely looked at it one of these mornings when we had a little bit of time. So it finally hit our 62 something profit here. What is that? Almost $63,000 was our last profit taking. So now we don't really have any profit takings until 72.5, right? Because this is our long-term trend. However, Bitcoin has been on a tear, right? Really moving really fast, really aggressively because of the news on the Bitcoin ETF that actually just got approved and it started trading yesterday. So because it has this insane momentum that just happened way too soon, I am going to want to have some shorter term profit targets around here, and let's find them together, right? So currently we're using this line as start of the trend, which is really a trend that started in September of 2020. So definitely using a long-term trend. Which is fine. It's what I wanted to use for Bitcoin because we had that big drop, so we were technically considered to be in a bear market. So we had a lot of time to buy, and wanted to play the long game there. But now that it's going on a tangent like this, we want to make sure we take our profits more conservatively here because it just moved way too fast. So it could have somewhat of a correction eventually, and no one knows when. It could have a correction here. You can have a correction here, you have a correction here. No one knows when, but once it moves this quickly, I want to make sure I start taking profit more and more because that's the only way we survive. So a drop like this the reason why we don't get wiped out on something like that is because we constantly just take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit. So I'm going to use this one now as start of the trend, which is, like a triple bottom here. So maybe even here actually, because that was a Fibonacci level. So from the bottom of the trend to where that trend topped out to where that trend bottomed out, let's see if I can get any more profit takings. It gave me another profit taking, but it's higher, so it doesn't help me. So I have to find another trend. Okay, what trend am I going to use? I mean, we can use this one. The problem with this one is the problem with this one is we don't have a bottom yet. It's not, basically to get a profit taking, you need, so this is what we have here, right? You need a bottom, a top, and a bottom, right, to get the numbers. If we use this trend here, the more shorter term one, we have a bottom, but we don't have a top yet, and we don't have a bottom yet, so we could use something like this. I mean, I do this sometimes because it had, some consolidation here and some bottom here. So we could use this one, but it's not a real top and it's not a real bottom. It's just a small consolidation, but it shall do for now, right? So I'm going to just add, I'm just going to add these two more, which is fine. The next one is at all-time highs, then 68, then we keep the other one. So that's fine. That works. I'm going to put this a little lower because the second one gave it to us a little lower, 72,000. Okay, so I'm happy with this because it gave me a little more stuff to work with. Is it ideal over here how we got to it? Not really, but hopefully, just for Fibonacci purposes, hopefully it finally finds a top somewhere and gives a little bit more of a pullback so we can adjust them. But for now, these shall do because I'm nervous because my next sell is just set on this level and I don't want to wait that long to sell more. So I'm going to want to sell before that. So I'm going to sell there. But once it does do a pullback, like just a little sharper one, once we just find a top, we can then also add shorter term buying levels, right? So, and for those, we can go from the bottom of the same trend we're using. So let's say it tops out here, that next profit taking. So then these are going to be a short term buy levels because we're going to, now that it's on a tear, right? We, don't want to just sell and call it a day. We want to continuously keep buying while it's hot, but that's why we also take so many profits because we want to make sure that we take our money off the table because the crazier it goes, the more the sharper it goes up, the sharper it can go down, right? Just how it works. So yeah, no, it's very exciting what's going on in the Bitcoin world. So yeah, so I'm gonna post this chart in the chat room just as a temporary one, because this is just us like anticipating stuff. But we do need to figure out where once the top gets established, we can fix these. But for now, I'm happy I have these two more profit takings. I want to set up my orders now. And that's it, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. And if you are, a student, I will see you in the chat room. Happy trading.